Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Well, you've played with doing performance material with Metal by Numbers off the Nerd Rage record, and then also More Metal Than You on Fart and Wiener Jokes, and you also covered The Gambler and stuff like that. This is a full-blown musical, I guess, venture here. How long has this been in the works in terms of you, putting together this record?
So, it's almost embarrassing how long.
Yeah.
I've been calling it, it took about 6 years from the idea. And it was always after Scott and I had done those other songs.
Right.
We always intended on trying to do the full album at some point. And then we hooked up with Megaforce a couple of years ago. Well, actually, like more than 5 now.
Right.
And we've been calling it the Chinese Democracy of Comedy Metal record. But it didn't cost $13 million like his did.
Yeah, sure.
We recorded mostly. Luckily, I have a super patient producer, Jay Rustin. I worked with him a little bit already before this record, and he lives near me, and Scott doesn't live that far from me. So like it was kind of like whenever we could get together, and we'd cruise over to Jay's and work on the record. And then at a certain point, it became. Oh man, the Megaforce was very teaching with this, but then they were also like, you didn't do this, did you finish this? So I wound up help other people like Brandon Fall and my buddy Chrome and help do it.
Right. And like you said, I mean, there's tons of guests on here. I mean, you just mentioned Scott, and you got some some of the Death Angel guys, and I think you got Chuck and Alex on here, and Gary Holt and stuff. But one of the ones, that I was wondering, because you got Jill Janis on here, and how did you get her involved? I mean, probably tight with her, I imagine?
Well, all of these people, with the exception of 1 or 2, were my friends. Like Jeff Philbin, I don't know, but Jeff Philbin was working with my producer, and he asked him to do a bass line on a song. But everybody else was me just asking for favors and going to friends. And Jill wanted to help, but wasn't sure about doing the comedy song, the Goblin Love.
Right.
Because it was so jokey, and I wanted her to do a character. And I was like, oh, I wrote it for you. I knew she could do it and would kill it like she did. He's like one of my favorite vocalists, and modern metal, and be her friend, and she was so talented, and then to have her on Take On Me too, and man, what a bummer when I found out the bad thing to her. But now a year after her passing, people get to hear it, which I'm stoked about.
Right. And how did you select that particular song to record, Take On Me? I mean, because anybody that's grew up with MTV, or is familiar with that tune, regardless of whether you're a fan of the band at the time or not.
Okay, so the songs I've covered so far, it to me, well, I've always said to my friends that any song is better if it's metal.
Right.
If you cover a song and make it heavy metal, it's better. Whatever song it is made better by being metal. Yeah, I'm half joking, but then I'm also not. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love metal so much. So when I did The Gambler and the same thing with this, it was just taking these songs I've heard my whole life. And I know other people have covered it, but other people haven't covered it with Chuck Billy and Zetro from, Extra Testament are two of my favorite bands growing up and still. And to get them and Jill on this record and for me to do like the silly Cookie Monster thing,
Yeah.
that I do. I mean, it sounds silly, but it was a metal dream. The whole record, the whole record was me just kind of doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do, but things that I wanted to do for a while, and involve all the funny people and all these like amazing musicians here.
Right. In terms of like promoting the record, I mean, obviously you're doing interviews and there's going to be video clips. I think you have a video. I think it's just one of those lyric videos or something for Take On Me at the moment. But is there going to be any kind of one-off gigs around like maybe comedy performances or anything like that for this, or would you like to do something like that?
We're trying to figure that out. We're definitely Scott and I performed Grandpa Metal on the Mega Cruise. Just what was it, 4 months ago?
Yeah.
And we're planning to do more like that, where he and I do a bunch of stand up together or stories. He tells more, he's more of a storyteller, and obviously our 32 years of stand up background. But we'll split a show, and we're planning on doing more of these. We don't have anything on the books yet, but that's the thing. This spring and summer that we're looking into, and then we'll book do stand up, and then we'll bring each other on stage and we'll tell stories together, and then we'll do a couple of songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did at Mega Cruise. So that's the plan. We'll do other places, and we are doing an in-story at Zebra in LA, where I think we'll do a version of that where Joey Bear about to Grandpa Metal with her. That'll be really fun.
Right. For you
That's
being
around the wreck.
Yeah. So for you being that, you're used to the whole stand-up thing and pretty comfortable with that. I mean, what's the difference between doing that and like a musical performance for you? I mean, being that you already did
not.
Oh, go ahead.
Right. I'm not comfortable doing the singing. It was, it was a lot to do. Just even the one song on the Mega Cruise, I really rehearsed it, and I was super nervous. It's it's out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get into this business thing. It just sort of happened. But I'm not really. I don't think I'm ever gonna do. I'm not gonna be Fozzy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't going to be a full-time thing.
Right.
I never intended that. And I don't think I'm going to really tour it. I don't think I'd ever go out with a band and do a full hour of metal, but there will be songs in the future performed live.
Right. Cool.
But in with comedy.
Sure. Right. I mean, we're all familiar with the stuff you've done with TV or film and stuff, but I think the one thing, I remember when I watched Devil's Rejects for the first time in the theater, and I saw you were in the movie. I had no idea you were in it, but my first thought is like, damn, he's gonna die. I mean, what was that experience like going through that? When you get snuffed out in a movie like that. It was directed by Rob Zombie, which I'm sure is somebody you're a huge fan of, both musically and as far as in the horror genre.
That, that was the reverse of me asking people to be on my album, him asking me to be in it early, and he just says, hey, you basically, do you want to get killed in a horror film? Yeah.
So you knew that from the front end, on the right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And even more so, my buddy Chris Hardwick had been in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, yeah.
And Hardwick isn't a huge metal fan, and I was always jealous of that. Like, he got to be in Rob's first movie, and I knew all about that movie while it was going down. So to see Chris get killed in the first movie, I was like, dude, I want to do it. He's like, oh, well, you got to meet him, and I want meeting Rob and hanging out. And then after I knew Rob a little bit, he was working on the movie, and they could do this. Absolutely. I'll do it.
Nice. On the record, the fart and wiener jokes. You do the Slayer bit. I'm just kind of curious, has Kerry King or Tom Araya ever heard that? And if so, what do they think about it?
You know, they actually do have a sense of humor. I've hung out with both of them over the years. They're not my closest friends in metal. I have other bands that I'm really close with, but both Kerry and his wife. I think his wife repeated it first. Aisha was, Aisha and I are friends, and he's hilarious, and he told him backstage. I think so funny you bring up Zombie because it was actually when Zombie was touring with Slayer.
Yeah.
And he'll show up in Seattle.
Oh.
We were backstage and he said, "Hey Kerry, do you know Brian's joke?" And told him the whole joke. He just stood there staring at me. Right. He already thought I was a big weirdo. Yeah. So after that joke, I don't think he knows what to think of me. He knows I'm a fan.
Right.
He knows I didn't mean it. I never meant it making fun of their face. If anything, it's the opposite.
Yeah. Wait, that's cool.
And it's most of my jokes are so. That one, I don't know how you would work that one. That's a weird one.
Yeah. There's lots of great stuff on those albums you've released. There was also a story, I think, with you when you first met Metallica. I think as a teenager. What was that like? I think you had gone and seen them, and then there was some kind of a weirdness about that moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the story I've told a lot, but they had just played the Kabuki in San Francisco, and it was early days, so I think they might have just gotten signed on Electro, but they were blowing up, but they weren't massive yet. Nobody outside of San Francisco and like a couple of metal areas knew who they were yet. But we did, and we went up, and me and my buddies, straight out of Sonoma High School, and so we live an hour away from the Bay and are away from San Francisco, and drove down there, and we're our brand new denim jackets, and those two guys, my buddies, had just their parents had let them grow out their hair. My mom wasn't letting me grow my hair yet, so but I had like a perm with a little bit of length, but it was pretty bad.
Right.
We go up to Metallica, and I was a spokesperson for some reason. I go, "Hey, my buddies are going to start a band, and what do you think we should call them?" And James looks at me in my 2008, almost. Just the ultimate poser.
Oh, no.
Poser clan. Like, he didn't call us posers, but he did class you.
Right.
That joke did.
Oh, gee.
I mean, Cliff was standing there, and Cliff Burton's laughing at it. And Kirk made fun of us first, because I went up to Kirk and told him he's shredded. Shredded.
Right.
And that was in the beginning. I just heard shred, and was throwing it around like I knew what I was doing. And he was like, "I don't shred, I don't even cook." And I was, oh,
jeez.
And they were like, James, he did that. It still comes back, the Sheen and Dare's kind of be like loving that. And but still being, they're like, "You're not cool enough to be our fan."
Oh, man. So, it's funny because then,
and I'm still their fan.
Yeah, you're still a fan.
I'm still their fan 35 years later.
It was just a little ribbing that you got way back when. But, I was going to ask you about this because, when I saw Metallica, they did the arena tour, the second leg for the Hardwired tour, and they blew through Portland, Oregon in December of 18. But, they had Brewer opening up. at first I was like, how's this going to work? And it seemed like basically he wound up carrying the opening slot for what it seemed like to be like 90 minutes. I mean, how nerve-wracking is something like that, being that, you're coming from a comedy perspective on that, and, the fans kind of are, for bands like Metallica or anybody like that, I mean, they're pretty rabid, so you have to come up with your A game. I mean, how does something like that? Yeah. How does something like, I don't know if you saw that tour, but what's your take on pulling something?
I didn't, but I know he was doing that. I knew he was doing that, and I know he involved a buddy of mine, the Nolan Kennedy Power, Joe Dib, was doing stuff with him too.
Right.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't want to fill in 90 minutes of the Metallica show. I've done my share of that on a smaller scale. I did a festival of Austin where I looked at the player.
Oh,
I did 20 minutes, and the only time I was apologizing to feel like,
right.
I know it was the last you want to see.
Wait a minute.
There was a dude.
When you
people like me, it was a festival, so people knew there was going to be comedy.
Right.
But then having it up before Slayer, not a lot of people could do that. I mean, I barely did. But I was apologizing. I told a joke about my cat. I'm like, God, what's the last thing the people like you?
But did you do a Slayer joke? That
bad.
I
did.
Oh, you did
that Slayer bag. Yeah,
nice.
This was a while ago. I
Right.
haven't done that joke in a while.
Right.
It's retired now.
Right.
But then, there's a few pockets of individuals, of guys on their own, hating me, flipping me off the entire time. I had opened for Mastodon once when it was the show where we were doing it together. It was a party, and there was one dude just screaming at me the whole time. But at Slayer, there were several, and one guy, he's red-faced, flipping me off the entire 20 minutes I was on, just like, at you, just Slayer. He's just screaming.
Oh.
I actually enjoyed it because I am a Slayer fan, so I get,
Right.
and that's why I made fun of those guys in the first place. I know those guys. I am one of those guys. Left me free jail, but
Right. Just a couple more, and then I'll cut you loose because I know you got a full day of interviews and stuff. But you're on Cameo. What's a request that you've turned down on Cameo? Is there anything that's off limits on Cameo? I mean, is there anything that stands out where you go, oh, geez, I'm not doing that?
yeah, it's already kind of doozy as it is. But,
Yeah.
some of the feedback I've gotten I really like, where the way that fans can get to reach out. It's a cool thing.
Sure.
If you do it well or if you do it correctly. I think.
Mhm.
But the ones I won't do are just straight up advertising.
Mm-hmm. So
That's the thing I'm trying to stay away from. There was one where a kid was going to a marketing interview and he wanted me to speak for his marketing interview, and I was like, well, that one's actually kind of clever.
right.
That showing his marketing skills that he and whatever it is, have me do a cameo in my backyard.
Nice. So it's kind of like doing his resume or something via Cameo?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, I thought.
So here's the last one. I'm sure you have lots to say or something to say about this, but I always hear about people saying that this is the new that, this is that, the other, whatever. Is 50 the new 40?
It for me it kind of is, because I've always been, I haven't changed since I was a kid.
Right.
And so I always feel younger. I always feel younger than the people that are my anyway, especially the last 20 years is like, when I go to reunion and I see the people I grew up with, I don't feel as old as they look, and I feel like I don't act as old as they look, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, so individually, I would say, yeah, for me, I'm I wouldn't say 50, but since I'm 53, I act like I'm 46.
Fun. Nice. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the metal, because I think, I agree with you. I think there's something about the music that definitely keeps you somewhat youthful, even if you're not physically youthful.
Yeah.
Mentally you're youthful.
Absolutely. And I'm listening to this music that I've grown up with almost all the time.
Right.
And then all my other interests are pretty the same things. It's still horror films. It's still action movies and comic books, and I'm still a Star Wars nerd and the Marvel nerd, all that stuff. So that I think that keeps you,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, thank you very much. I hope to see you do some stand-up up here in Portland. I'll come check you out, and we'll plug the record, do links, do social media and all that stuff. And thank you for your time. And hopefully we can catch up again sometime.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Yeah, you too.